In Genesis chapter 26, verse 12, as we look at the character of Isaac on hindrances to progress, there are issues we find. One, in verse 12, Isaac planted crops in that land, and the same year reaped 100-fold. Isaac had already arrived in Gerar, but he was just around, telling people Rebecca is not the wife. Abimelech coming to him, seeing him caressing his wife. He had not started something. But the same year he planted, he reaped 100-fold. One hindrance to progress is lack of initiative, lack of the synergy to start something in the area that you have potential, ability, and God's blessings. Remember, God told Isaac, remain here. I'll bless you here in Gerar. So there are areas God has given us a promise. Go ahead, start something, then you will progress. Number two thing we find here is laziness. There are people who are not hardworking. They just don't do anything. That's why we're being told that Isaac planted and reaped 100-fold. You cannot harvest where you have not planted. And remember, farming is not easy. You invest money, you invest your time, you pay workers, you invest skills, you choose which crop to plant. You have to look at the climate, what favors this area. You have to involve technology, capital, expertise, even agricultural extension officers. So it is a lot that is put inside. There's a lot that you have to put in to get a harvest. There are people who doesn't want hard work and great involvement in what they are doing, yet they want 100-fold. 100-fold cannot come, my brother, my sister, if you don't go an extra mile in your workplace, in your business, in your marriage, over your children. Whatever you're doing, you have to go an extra mile to reap 100-fold. Another thing we get in verse number 13, the Bible says, the man became rich and his wealth continued to grow until he became very wealthy. So he planted and became rich. Then he continued to grow his wealth until he became wealthy. Another version says, the man prospered and he continued to prosper until he became prosperous. So one hindrance to progress is not pursuing growth or increase in whatever we are doing. We get contented with the results we have now, and then now we try to maintain it. But we need to go out, look for the greener pastures. Like Proverbs 27 says, know the condition of your flock and your herds, and go out and look for greener pastures to better it, so that it can increase, to bring you returns. You have to grow what you have so that it can grow. Grow what you have so that it can grow. Develop what you have so that it can develop. Increase what you have so that it can have increase. So that is another area. Another area we find here is in the following verse, number 14. He had so many flocks and herds and servants that the Philistines envied him. Verse 15. So all the wells that his father's servants had dug in the time of his father Abraham, the Philistines stopped up, filling them with earth. A hindrance we find here is failing to use your wealth to create good relations with others. Isaac was prospering, but was he using his wealth to prosper the neighbors? Was he paying the taxes to Abimelech? Was he helping develop infrastructure of that area, building roads? Was he helping in any way to grow Gerar as a community? If he was supporting the community with material, it would be very difficult for everyone in that community to arise and say, he must go and we must stop him from prospering. Brother and sister, use your wealth to develop your relatives, to develop church members, to develop workers, the people you are working with, employees, your house help. Take your husband back to school if you are able to. Develop somebody. Those people will cry out for your goodness like the widows did for Tabitha. Look at what she did for us. Another hindrance we find here is envy and jealousy. These people envied him. Some of us, instead of going out to look at what that guy is doing so that we can also do better, we envy the person. Jealous, we don't want him to prosper. Go to that person and ask him for skills, not to envy the person. That's what the Philistines were doing. Another thing is becoming a hindrance to the progress of others. The Philistines goes ahead and they stop his wells. They stop his wells so that he cannot prosper. He cannot get water to continue. When you hinder others, you yourself cannot prosper. You block the prosperity of other people, God cannot allow your own to continue. Support others to continue growing, and God will come in for yourself. Don't fill up their wells. Another thing is the spirit of competition. Because in verse number 16, Abimelech said to Isaac, move away from us. You have become too powerful for us. You have become too powerful for us. Meaning he was comparing him and his people and Isaac's power. The power of Isaac and his power. Which one is very powerful? When you start comparing yourself with other people, competing with other people, it hinders your own progress. You can stop it and work out your own area and grow your own as you cheer up others